Hello everyone, Venris here, and today we'll be talking about the Omens of Destruction SFO update 1.35 for the DLC. The moment of releasing this video, the changelog is up. You can check it, and today, 8 p.m. Central European Time, we'll have a stream that will be releasing the update during the stream. Important note, if you are an SFO mod team patron, you can have a chance, to win one of the hand-painted postcards that we have that are representing the legendary lords from the DLC. And also I will be having a giveaway for my own game, Whispers of the Air, that is getting into early access next week, so check it out. Okay, let's move to the changelog because there's a lot of things to do. First of all, changelog doesn't have a name. Changelog, the update doesn't have a name. We shall have the big update, the graphic change, and so on. Why not? Because this update is a bit of a playing ground. We are testing some changes that we want to do massively for the next update, focusing on the events and dilemma, especially that you will see in the vampire cons. First thing first, there are small stuff in the generic changes, nothing that is really worth explaining. It's easy, only two things. That big kudos to Gabe Sky, that was helping with immensely with vampire content, so all the new events, dilemmas, items, abilities, things like that, and also Backholder for allowing to integrate his scrap upgrade UI framework into SFO. Thank you for that. Okay, vampire cons, let's start with them as soon as possible. Vlad von Karstan is able to transform into giant, but it's not a straight buff. It's, he's flying, so it's a buff. But he has no armor in this form, so it's easy to shot him. But it's all about the fact that we wanted him to be a bit more mobile, a bit more interesting, and this really fits his lore. And it is lore friendly because vampires in the lore were able to change into different animals. Subjugation of human factions. So normally vampire cons are able to subjugate vassal other factions, but we made that through the technologies you can make that the human factions that are subjugated your vassals are getting massive bonuses like upkeep reduction, immunity to vampire attrition, and many other cool stuff. So you will be this human trials empire of vampires. You can right now, it's actually working. For those that remember, Night Court mechanic that we had back in SFO2, when you were using the blood kisses to get the missions and the followers for the specific factions that you're spying on, we added those bonuses and followers back into the mod right now, in a way of that all of those generic boring missions that you had in vanilla now are having unique rewards, unique stuff, and are just more cool. It's also linking with the fact that each legendary lord right now have own set of dilemma and events. There are a total of 25 new dilemmas, and each of the legendary lord factions, so Manfred, von Karsteins, Manfred is von Karstein also, so Kemmler, Gors, things like that, they are getting own dilemmas, events, own items, own effects, and it's just cool in my opinion because you play them a bit different and they are getting spice for different stuff doing, and so on and so on. And this is the staple that I said that is this update is a bit of a playing ground because we want to introduce these systems to each faction in the future, so that you're at turn 50, you're not getting this boring plus 500 gold mission again to write a specific region or things like that. No, you'll get an item, you'll get a nice effect bundle, so faction-wide bonus or things like that for every mission. So missions from turn 1 to turn 100, all to be interesting and working as a goal that you want to go through. Yes, and all of this is also linked with a new Night Court Supremacy. This is a new resource, very, very easy resource to understand. It has 3 different effect bundles, so 3 different bonuses, and depending on what point of the supremacy right now is, it's different. One is like a very basic, neutral, everything. Different one is making that all of your units are very strong, I mean, deal more damage, are faster, but your healing capacity is lower. And the different one is focusing on magic, and so on and so on. You change it in two different ways. One, you can get opportunities in the dilemma to change, increase it, decrease it, and so on. But you also can change them freely using the blood kisses all the time in the rights, and it's also linking with the rights. So rights for the vampire counts, they received 2 rights per legendary lord. Yes, so each vampire count faction has 4 rights. 2 of them are generic, let's call them, but 2 are very specific and linking to the theme of this faction. So for example, Vlad can summon Vargulfs having on his army ability. Other stuff, we received the dilemma. I wrote about this, unique rights, also bloodlines. First of all, as you can see here, bloodlines received the new effects, and this is very important because each of the effects were reworked. We added a lot of cool new effects, but also each bloodline is now giving own units. So we have 4 new units. Blood Dragon are giving the Scarlet Knights. They are like young vampires on the skeletal steeds. Very cool unit with great swords, so working like questing knights. We have the von Karstein that had the civilian crossbowmen that we changed a bit. They are now anti-large with more units than a normal crossbowmen. And we removed the handgunners from the campaign. We really thought that this is the unit that was not needed at all. Lamia received the border mercenaries. So they are like stealthy. Oh my. Free company. They are like free company because in lore, vampires were usually hiring humans to secure their borders, especially during the day. So Necrarch received the skeleton spellbreakers. Those are the units with side skeletons that gets buff if enemy is casting spells. And the Strigoi get the feral Strigoi, so they are like stealth crypt horrors units. Capacity of those units is increased only through the bloodlines. There is no other way to increase them. And also if you remember, the civilian crossbowmen and handgunners were also increased through the skills that the von Karstein bloodline lords had. We removed that. You don't need to spend the points right now, just increase the bloodline so it's more beneficial. Important thing also, when you get a bloodline lord, in the past it was the thing that the bloodline lords had a random trait. We did a lot of cool traits for them, but the problem was that there was no choice because you get this one random and that's it. Right now the bloodline lords are starting without traits, and you can pick the trait from their skills. And because of that, we also made that each bloodline lord is starting at level 2 ASAP. So remember, you recruit the bloodline lord, first skill point that you should spend is on a trait. Okay, what else do we have for vampires? We have new technologies, because those nice bloodline units, we made that they are not beneficial from any technologies, generic technologies and skills. They benefit only from those new special technologies that are very strong and making a lot of buffs to those units. All the usual SFO stuff that were, so Vlad Technologies, the Manfred Books of Nagash, so unique mechanics for those factions were buffed. More interesting effects, especially using the effects from the recent DLCs and other things that just make them a bit better. Many small changes to the character skills. There were some adjustments, especially to the bloodlines. And what else? And some small units stuff. Nothing much really here to talk about. Let's move to the Ogre Kingdoms. Ogre Kingdoms, so yes. So we had a lot of, maybe not that a lot, but we had some character skills for especially the lords and heroes, things like that. Especially right now, Creative Assembly added the new ones to those factions, so we decided to just merge our changes with the vanilla, so you can see some new effects for those, especially underperforming stuff. What do we have? We have a new traits, so 5 new traits for Bruiser and Paymaster. This is a thing from the previous SFO update that was gigantic, so each legendary hero, and lord is getting own traits, no generic anymore, things like that. We have Gresh's. Quite interesting thing is that we changed how his Terran demands. So this is a new mechanic made by Cirque. We changed some costs of there. Some of them receive not cost but are giving you gold right now. The one that is about stealing auxiliaries, because it was quite underperforming. So overall we changed stuff a bit here and there. Nothing really grandiose. In terms of Scrag, especially the same thing. Path of the Butcher effects were changed a lot because they were quite bad and they were not rewarding to get to the last bits of it, so they are like gradually increasing in power right now. It's not like a stable increase, it's just gradual, so it's better and better. Some small changes to abilities. So Goldfang Magnetar, nothing really to talk about here. They are just balance stuff, especially yet again to the SFO standards, because as you know we really like abilities duration to be longer, more impactful, because this is how it is actually impacting them on the battlefield, if it's not the damage ability but just a buff ability. In terms of the units, Paymaster got some buffs. It got more armor and attacks faster, so this is quite interesting. Paymaster, so the new legendary new generic lord is having ability to summon hobgoblins for free with bows. This is like a basic ability. Changes to the bruiser, his puncture ability, and so on. I talk about those things in the battles video, so I won't be going that much into the details. Big Back Riders, they got more overall as a unit, more anti-large, and got a devastating flanker and glorious charge for the ROR version. They are still just, Gnoblars, so don't expect them to hit like a truck. They are just better at charging. Yeah? Vultures, more missile resistance, more melee defense, because they're really easy dying to any of the projectiles right now. Way too fast. Golfang Magnetars, they received anti-infantry bonus. I talked with the video about them. So adaptive tactics is no longer giving them bonuses where they are winning combat. They are now triggered if the enemy around is large and having terror, and then their anti-infantry bonus changes to anti-large bonus, so they are a very adaptive unit. Yeti's contact effect was changed, no big changes to them. The Arrow version got a bonus anti-large because they are lacking a bit anti-large, so yet again. Eshin Manitar, just a better unit, faster attack, bomb buffs, things like that, so this is still cool. Stealthy unit, but a bit better. No big changes here yet. The Gnoblar's Scrap Launcher the Gnoblar Trap ability and important. The Gnoblar Trap ability no longer has a use because it had one use in vanilla. Now it has a cooldown. So yes. And the Giant got expandable attribute because it's fitting that it's more like a Gnoblar unit than linking to the Ogres that doesn't have it. Okay, let's go with the Greenskin. There are a lot of changes here in terms of campaign, because the campaign in SFO in terms of the Greenskins. Oh, one thing about the Ogres. We really didn't change much about the building effects, how their technology is working, or the stuff with the camps, because I like it. I like it, same with the big names and so on. We didn't touch it, we are fine with it, so we are not changing things that are just working. Yeah, we just readjusted the things that were added in SFO back, so they are working. Yet again. Greenskins. There are changes here because CA made that, for example, the raiding and industry chains are no longer be able to build together. We gave it back because in SFO, Greenskins construction is working entirely different than on the other factions. They are using growth instead of gold that much for the constructions, and also their income comes from the military buildings, that industry buildings just increase. So yet again, changes based on what SFO had and not what was done in the vanilla, so don't expect those buildings changes and so on. Everything is up to the idea of the Greenskins from SFO. Technology effects were changed a lot here and there because many units didn't have the same amount of bonuses, so we changed those, readjusted those to yet again the things that we had in SFO in the previous updates to the technology tree and so on. Character skills yet again merged with the new ones from vanilla. So vanilla ones and SFO merged because we added a lot of skills to them in the past, unique ones, and we didn't want it to be lost, so we added those back here and there. Scarcity campaign effects, this is quite important because we had a colossal quick unit, and now this unit is changed into quick big bursta, so they're like double size. It's like size, not in terms of amount of units. Squeaks, and they are, when they are dying, they are exploding with more small squeaks. So this is like a faction exclusive to Skarsnik unit right now, and Skarsnik received some buffs. Quite interesting, we added some buffs that Gorbat, I always had problems with this name, Gorbat plans have, because we redistributed many plans effects that are very cool from Gorbat to other factions of the Greenskins. So Skarsnik, Vurza, Grimgor, Azak, they received also those bonuses from Gorbat plans. So it's cool for all of the Greenskins. Vurza campaign effects. We had a Savage Orc War Boss already, so Great Shaman Lord that was added to Vanilla. We made that this one is more unique, getting more expensive, more of those you have. They having more faction might bonuses, so they are like a very strong lords for the Vurzak generic lords. So our lord just stayed, yeah, but we just changed him to be more interesting. Okay, Grimgor. So his armor bonus for boys units that was in SFO for campaign effects was removed, and instead we made the stance for him. There are new stances, as you remember, for the Black Orcs that the DLC added for the Shielded one and the Great Axis one. We changed both of them entirely, how they work, and Grimgor has those as a base for his Black Orcs units. Immovable Bulwark, so right now it removes expert charge defense, lowers the mass, but gives the ballistic plating. Idea of this stat, you should use it when you're not in melee and someone is shooting at your Black Orcs with shields. Unstoppable Choppas is for normal orcs, and it's lowering armor piercing but increasing the base attack damage. So yet again, if you're fighting as enemies without armor, you should swap, because that way you will be just unstoppable Choppas. Gorbat. Gorbat campaign effect. So his raise income was changed to upkeep reduction for all units on enemy territory. His traits were not the best, so we just buffed them in a way that they are working for everything in your province, not only for Gorbat army. The plan's abilities were adjusted all over the place, especially those underperforming ones, and we also changed a lot of requirements for the plans because some of them are very finicky, so we changed them to be just easier pleasing to go around. Also, Tactical Boys is a new unit that is based on the how was the name? The unit with the crossbows, you know, Ruglut's Armored Corps. They are based on Ruglut's Armored Corps orcs, blah, blah, blah. And they are crossbow orcs that Gorbat can recruit as he wants, as long as he have active plans, and how many active plans or armies have, the more capacity he's getting for those specific units. His WAG ability, army ability, received Devastating Flanker, because as you remember, all the Greenskins WAG abilities having own gimmicks. Okay, plans are not talking about those ability. His Axe ability was changed because it's a big change. It's now active ability, like stance, so increased damage, charge, and charge speed in exchange for lowered melee defense, so we can make him a bit stronger, but more glass cannon. Let's call it. Yet again, I was talking about that with the battle stuff. So not much change here in terms of battle from the last video. Snagla got a new contact effect that is linked with his ability. Spider web attack got more uses. Night Goblin big boss. There are a lot of buffs to this hero because he was very bad. For example, he has unspottable, vanguard deployment. His abilities are better. He got the abilities from the Goblin unit that was in a War in the Warlord. Opportunities Murder, but I don't remember the unit name. Additional levels added to campaign skills because many of his campaign skills were just lacking. So yet again, they're getting more stuff. He was really bad in vanilla, in my opinion. Savage Great Orc Shaman, magical attacks added, especially in his abilities buffed a bit. Black Orcs with Shields, this was a unit in SFO for almost 7 years right now, so we just changed both thrower. Yet again, we had it in SFO back in Warhammer 2, so added to our standards. Ruglut's Armor Bow Orcs, they have a bolstered armor. There are really small stuff here. They are not small when you will be playing and you will feel it, but I don't want to go into detail because, yes, yet again, you have a change look here. I am talking about the things that requires explanations. Let's call it. Khorne. Khorne is, this is actually where there's a lot of changes because CA totally changed how he's working in terms of buildings, income, the blood host, things like that. So it took a lot of time to go through all of those. I think Khorne was the most amount of work. He took almost 2 weeks to do, daily working 10 to 12 hours even sometimes. So he was really crazy. Overall, this DLC didn't add a lot of content, but changed a lot of content. And because SFO is a mod based on vanilla, it made that some things really took a lot of time. Even with our old new systems that we introduced with Warhammer who making updates easier, this DLC was crazy, but we also had the holidays during the time and so on and so on. So yeah, let's get back to Khorne. Post-battle options for Scarbrand. This was his campaign thing. So if he was killing something, he was getting faction-wide stuff. Right now, those things were changed, and they are for all Khorne factions. So both Arbal and Skulltaker can have it. Skulls gain from battle was lowered by 50% because it was way too crazy. At turn 10, I had 40 case of 40,000 skulls. Way too much. Just too much. Building effects were changed a lot, especially in a regard that many of the effects are now province-wide. This is a thing that I think just it's not working in vanilla because it's working when you have a very small empire. When you have 1-2 provinces max, but then moving this unit to this specific region, because in this specific region you have a building that lowers upkeep or increase the lowers the recruitment cost, and so on and so on and so on, is overall very annoying. Also, all of the Khorne buildings received effects that gives them shit ton of income if there's enemies in this specific region. So cool thing is that when someone attacks the provinces of Khorne gets money for it. This is a small thing. This is not that you can base your economy on, but it's like a small buff. Especially that Khorne is more about having a lot of treasure, gold, but not income. So you need to increase it by post-battle sacking, raising, things like that. So it's more dynamic, more proactive way of taking stuff. Okay, resource building effects change on par with the core theme. This is a thing that we already did in the past. We changed the resource buildings, he changed them right now, so we merge our changes. So they are both giving skulls or specific bonuses faction wide, so it's always worth it to get the resource buildings. Bloodletting changes were adjusted to the new vanilla changes. We left the growth there. So the thing that CA removed, we left the growth there. And it's very small, but we want that, yes, actually, you get a growth not only from battles, but also from bloodletting, passively. No bloodletting. Yeah, it's bloodletting, I think it's called. Yeah, it's bloodletting. Big changes, the biggest changes from all the DLC stuff, technology tree is going to the Khorne. Why? Because many effects there were really underperforming, or I won't say that any of them were overpowered, but many of them were underperforming, not in the units regard. In the unit regards, we added a lot of them because many units were underperforming. For example, there was like only one buff to the war count, there was only one buff to the, how it's called, the Bloodthister, or there were no buffs to the Knights, only the generic one for cavalry, so we changed a lot of those. So all units should be more or less on par when you get all the technologies. We did the same thing with the Ogres and the Greenskins, but in the Khorne they really require more help. So we added a bit of new effects. In terms of the campaign one, so the first step for Khorne, we did a lot of shuffling there. For example, one of the technologies that was the most important for Khorne was that you're getting growth for battles. Now it's the first technology, not somewhere in the middle that everyone was still going there. So yes, the Khorne technology were shuffled a lot of new effects, and which is very important. It's linking with the thing that I said about the growth, because Creative Assembly changed Khorne to growth to be normal, like all the other factions, so be based on the buildings. We did not went with this change. Khorne is proactive. You need to fight. You need to have a lot of bloodletting, and that way your growth will be very fast. So more proactive you are, more growth you are getting as a Khorne. Skullthrone effects, yet again, changes to the underperforming stuff. Some are more cool. So for example, one of the Skullthrone thing was that giving you control public order faction-wide. We made that it's giving you, but only if you have wars. So when you activate, depending on how many wars you have conquering right now, this bonus can like explode it with control, and same with the growth and other stuff. So yet again, some cool stuff, nothing grandiose, just adjustments to be more interesting. Manifestations were adjusted only in a small way, because we like the changes that CA did. They are not working with the changes that we did for the manifestations in the past, but I think what CA does is cool, and we then wanted to make those manifestations as strong as the previous SFO version, because it will collide with the Skullthrone. And again, we are not adding buffs to the buffs for the buffs. Tiers were shifted a bit, so buildings, levels, things like that. A lot of changes here. And we have a donation. Thank you, Lux. We had a donation during the stream, during recording. This is not stream. This is just not stream. Okay. Thank you for the donation. Nice. A nice segment. Okay, landmarks were buffed, a lot of them, because they were very underperforming or over. Skills merged, yet again, the same thing with the Greenskin and Ogres, new ones with the old ones. A lot of merging, Horn of Khorne, army ability, a lot of buffs. Albar received some buffs. His upkeep production moved to the challenges, because he had upkeep production for no demonic units. He received it on his challenges. All of the challenges rewards were readjusted, and they are just different from each other, more interesting. And his campaign effect is that rage ability from Norska, all his non-demonic units and characters has it, because Arbol was a Norscan, so it's very fitting that he's giving to those. Weapon strength was added to his trait and doubled. No, it was just doubled. It was there already, because his trait was also a bit underperforming. Okay. Flesh Hounds of Khorne. If you have a mount, they all got bleeding attacks. Small stuff. Scarbrand stuff. CA changed a lot how his traits and campaign effects were working, so we made some shuffle here. He had the Bloodhost bonuses. What was his bonus? When effects added to his personal... Oh, okay. He was that he got more blood host units and the duration of immunity to attrition. We move those to his personal skills. So you just get it when you level him up. And that's it. You don't need it. His trait from the previous version of the game, that recruitment cost reduction on an enemy territory, was made faction-wide thing for him, so he can go to enemy territory and recruit enemy own units very, very cheap right now. Yes, and his Scarbrand trait was also changed to what he had in vanilla, so it's more buffing the engine guys, you know, the spider and bloodthirsters, and we still moved some of those old buffs to his personal skills because we still want him to be a character that is very fast about raising enemy settlements and move it to the next one, because right now none of this is possible in vanilla. They just removed it, they just moved it, so we get it back. Skulltaker, only ability changes, not much stuff here. Scar Blood Wrath, some ability changes, small destruction to the Bloodstorm. Scylla got a lot of changes. She. I always have a problem if she. Scylla, just Scylla, got a SFO contact effect, some buff, especially Scylla. Especially the fact that this character, both in vanilla and SFO, had big problems with survivability. So we added more health to it, and melee defense, and so on. Oh my god, I'm speaking for like half an hour right now though, so don't worry, but I will go to the end and I hope I will survive. Okay, in terms of the units, big changes to the units goes to Khorne Gors. The Khorne Gors are not anti-large anymore, and you ask why. Khorne would like to have some anti-large. First of all, they have a Warriors of Chaos with halberds for it. Second of all, Khorne Gors are also a unit that is being moved to the Beastmen, and Pestigors are already anti-large, so they don't need a second anti-large unit. Their ability was increased a lot, it's way freaking stronger, but it's giving a rampage for the end of its duration. No big changes to the Blood Beast. Skull Reapers, this unit that I was talking about in the units video, so they are less entities and they are having a new ability. It is all about debuffing enemy melee attack. Warmongers, yet again, they are working like the aspiring champions for the Khorne, and they have a new ability that lowers enemy ward save physical resistance and causes them to rampage. Why those changes? Easy solution, easy explanation is that Khorne already have units on that tier and they are chosen. So in vanilla, both Skull Reapers and Warmongers really don't have a place in the roster. That's why we changed them so they are better in that regard, in my opinion. What do we have else? Slaughter Brute, melee attack. What is the Slaughter Brute? Slaughter Brute, Blood Beast of Khorne. Oh, Slaughter Brute, the giant monster. Okay, yeah, it's anti-infantry, which is very important because right now this unit is good against everything. So we changed it, that is all about anti-infantry. Its melee attack is lowered, but it's very good against anti-infantry. It's not that good against large. If you want something that is better against large or overall against everything, you have a Bloodthirster. So yet again, we wanted to make sure that this new unit doesn't just replace the old unit in vanilla like it is usually. Hellforgers Belowers, this is an ROR unit left as a single entity because this is a Skull Cannon, and Skull Cannons are 4 entities in SFO. And Slaughter Guard ROR unit changed to the SFO chosen standard. Yes, so this is more or less for Khorne. As I said, you can just go through the changelog and read those changes. Let's go through the small changes that we have for other factions. So Kislevites, Saint Anushka's Fingerbone. This is active ability that you can find as this is a normal item, generic item, let's call it, and you can have a double duration on it. That's it. Armored Corsairs, they received the directional shield attribute. We wanted the Armored Corsairs and the Great Weapon Corsairs to be more diverse in a way. The problems with them, they are performing very similar right now. So yet again, Armored Corsairs are extremely good against enemy projectiles right now, and Armored Corsairs with great weapons are way better at charging. So this initial push from attack will be very better. Streltsy, the normal unit, not the Bardish one that we have thanks to the Chaos Robbie, reload time was nerfed for them. So they are because they are overperforming over the normal one. Bretonia, small change. Mounted Yeoman received the bonus versus large to their melee. Unit was extremely underperforming, so we wanted to find some kind of niche for them. Empire, so Imperial Allegiance, this faction passive that gives them +5 melee defense and leadership when they are losing battle, was changed to +8. Leadership. So small buff. Snitch. Snitch received for his campaign trait immune to trespassing added, so he can now sneak on enemy regions, which is very fitting for him. Small buffs to the high levels overall. Curse of Anarion, this is a Tyrion ability and SFO, so Unyielding Assault attribute that makes that enemies cannot lower his melee attack was added. His personal skills were also buffed a lot. Sun Dragon received the flaming attacks. I don't know why he never had it. Wake of Fire, so this is a Flamespire Phoenix ability that is like a bombardment, small buffs to it. White Lions of Crans, more charge, small +5, but it's something always. Small buffs to Tyrion skills, I talk about it. This is important. Alaria, Sisters of Valor, Handmaiden, and Maiden Guard all received immune to contact effects attribute because it's fitting. They are all about Isha cleansing themselves from the corruption. Wood Elf, Sisters of Khorne received magical attacks, both on their melee and range. A big buffs to the Lizardman stuff. So Ancient Croxigor's Lords, their buffs, the personal buffs, received a lot of bonuses, and their miasma aura also of the effects were almost buffed. Red Crested Skinks received the normal ones with the maces, received more charge bonus and base weapon strength, and the shielded one received more weapon strength. This is an SFO unit, by the way. It needs to be written there that it's SFO. Temple Guard units received more spare and missile resistance. They were a bit underperforming because they are very, 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 very expensive. Saurius units, this is very important. All armor piercing were adjusted for them. So right now the units that have no shields have more armor piercing. Those without shields have less armor piercing. So the differences in performance between them is way bigger right now. Skin Skirmishers received +30 range. This is a lot because normally they had 70. Now they are 100. And Chameleon Skins as a base received the snipe attribute added, so they are master ambushers. Grand Cathay. So Harmony negative effects won't scale anymore. As you know, each province for Grand Cathay have Harmony. There's like a balance and then going into the two directions. And we made that those have negatives, those sides, yeah, yin yang, and increasing positive. And in past week there was also increasing negative. Right now, no. When you move, you have a negative, and it's staying the same on the same level. It's only going high for the positives. Bastion of Great Cities, War Drum stance received the shield parry attribute. So War Drum, the unit from the last DLC, the Shadows of Change, is a bit better thanks to it. Chaos Dwarfs. Small changes. Centaur Taruk. This is a generic hero, received Unyielding Assault attribute as a base to himself. All the Bull Centaur units, including the Toruk, unit speed was increased. We want this unit to be... They are a bit too slow right now, so we want it to be performing a bit better. Dreadquake Mortar units. This is very important. The normal unit received less ammunition. We lowered the amount of ammunition, but the train one is getting more ammunition. Dwarves. I don't know why it's written that way. The warriors with shields received more base weapon strength, changed to armor piercing, so they will be performing a bit better because yet again the great weapons were just too good for them. But not good for them, they were just, you know what I'm saying. Demons of Chaos. There are some UI changes here because we have so many Demons of Chaos right now units. With the SFO faction wide caps system, we had to shuffle the caps, add them, merge them, because if we don't do it, then you go to the building effects, it will be like boom, giant list of capacities. So we change a lot of those, and the small buffs to his personal skills for the Daniels, and the rituals that he had. Demon Forging. It's Demon Reforging adding right now. So he has effects that buff Demon Reforging because this is a thing that was added overall to vanilla. Norska. Rampage stance. So they have a stance that gives rampage to the whole army, more experience gain, and was lowering the vigor loss reduction by 50%. Now it's just giving a perfect vigor. So because it's a very risky stance, let's face it, you can lose a battle because of it. So we wanted it to be actually worth it. Warriors of Chaos. Some small changes to all infantry marauders. This including all ox, axe, and shield units received more melee attack. Yet again, very underperforming. Spear attacks were overperforming, so they are more defensive right now. They're having less melee attack, but more charge and defense. And the great weapon ones, less melee attack, more charge, because yet again, very overperforming over the spear one and the axe one. Whew, okay, it took longer than I expected, but those are the more or less changes for the, not more or less, they are the changes for Omens of Destruction update. Please keep in mind, this update may be smaller, but it's because we really want, and already started on it, for the next update to do this kind of quality of life improvement for all the game factions, as we just did for the vampires. So all the dilemma, all the events, all the missions are way cooler, way more unique, and different for each Lord, and we want to go with this idea for every faction. So it will take a lot of time, but yet again, we want you to be always excited that you get a mission, that you get a dilemma, and not just, okay, plus 500 gold, ignore it. Yeah, we want you to be like, damn it, this is a cool choice, what will I do? And the next my playthrough, I will get a different dilemma because I'm playing a different High Elf Legendary Lord or Dark Elf, and so on, and so on, and so on. Okay. We see each other on stream today, on the release stream. Remember, if you're SFO Mo Team Patreon, you will have a chance to win the hand-painted postcards for each Legendary Lord that was in this DLC. And also, I will be giving codes, Steam codes to Whispers of the Eyeless, our game, first standalone game that we are releasing next week. I am very excited about it for this Steam early access release. Okay. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a wonderful day. I was Venris. Remember, if you like the video, leave the comments, like the video, and if you love or at least tolerate our content, you can always support us via Patreon, because this is the best way to support our free work for you and Total Warhammer free. Okay, yet again, have a nice day, and I was Venris, and I'm out. Bye.